Hey there, everybody. Welcome back with the Purplatypus is the name. Today we're going to do a Primrose review, and as you can see, I've got my desert rose right here. I think that's what they call her in the cutscene. Anyway, I have her up to level 62. So just keep in mind, this is not her final form even. But yeah, we're going to kind of go over her stuff. Man, my cat is yelling like crazy. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at her skills, and I'll kind of give you a rundown. How do we do this? There we go. So let's go over everything she's got, and then afterwards I will show you her in battle, not to necessarily represent her strength, but kind of more to show the animations. I think we can conceptualize her strength just by reading her abilities here. What is going on, buddy? You okay? He's just jealous that he didn't pull Primrose. Moonlight Waltz 2. Deal elemental dark damage to a single foe, potency 170. Sleep, snore. Import front with physical attack up 15%. Sleep, snore. These abilities are abilities that are like, oh, these are pretty good on 4 stars. Yeah. Like if I have a 4-star with Rousing Lion Dance, I'm like, that's pretty cool. Maybe I'll even run them just to have that because it's pretty good and helps the thing. But on a, if you're going to spend a lot of gems on a 5-star, this is not what you're pulling for. These just happen to be here. Sweep, physical fan damage to all foes. Boring. It's not. I'm sure there's like literally better 4-star abilities that's like hit all enemies with fan damage twice. This is not really what you're doing either, but it's not like bad. It's like whatever. It's just one of those early abilities that you might have if you're early in the game and you need something to do before you hit a higher level. Deal elemental dark damage to all foes, potency 180. That's fine. So I'll admit these first 4 abilities, right? I mean, 180 potency on all foes is pretty good, but we're about to get to everything from here on out is nuts, in my opinion. Everything is great. Starting with Chaotic Blow. Deal physical fan damage to a random foe 4 times. 4 times. That's a lot. Now this is obviously random foes, so if you're fighting 3 guys, they're all weak to fan, this is likely not very good. You likely are just going to use sweep or something in that situation. But if you're going up against a boss with a fan weakness, this is just, or you're going up against a Kate, this thing is great for that. 4 hits potentially. Like, you're not ever going to use this unless they're weak to fans. So when they are weak to fan, this is like one of the best fan attacks in the entire game. Absolutely love this ability. It is great for Kate farming. It's great for shield breaking. Fantastic. Warrior's Waltz. Now this is one I actually haven't learned yet because I think the other ability was better, but I could learn these no problem. I think I got enough JP, I think. Impart front with physical attack up 20% and physical defense up 20%. So this is specifically only because the other ability I think is better. This is one you're going to use when you really need that physical defense up, because the other ability doesn't have the defense up, but it does a lot more for the team overall. But if someone is just hitting like a fucking truck, you can combine this with Viola, right? Debuff their physical attack 20%, up your physical defense 20% with this ability. And then you're gonna be like sitting pretty, right? But you have to make sure they're a very physically inclined character. This doesn't help you at all against magic characters. But it is a Warrior's Waltz, so I was like, oh shit, this is great. This is one of the greatest abilities in the game. Until I saw her later ability, which I think is even better. Now we get into the 3, I think last 3 are like nutty abilities, right? I think there's 3 more, and they're all nuts. Deal elemental dark damage to a random foe 3 times, and lower dark resist by 15% for 2 turns. What's up, kitty? You want to say hi to the camera? Ugh. Here we go. Say hi. Primrose, my rose, why can't I pull you? Increase the rate square. He's running now. So one, it doesn't really say it how this ability works fully, but the dark resist stacks with air. It doesn't stack. It's always 15%, but after every one of the attacks, it also does the 15% for 2 turns. So using this once, it makes it dark, the 15% dark resist by 15% for 6 turns, right? So it's very good. So that means her first hit doesn't get the boost, But then the second 2 hits of the attack do get the boost based off visually what I'm seeing here. It's a little bit harder to tell with the numbers on unbroken foes. But it appears because it hits, there's like an animation, it hits, you see the debuff trigger, and then it hits again, another debuff trigger, and it hits again, another debuff trigger. So it seems like her second and third hit will get the benefit as well, but it's not the end of the world if it doesn't. But I think it does. But lower dark resist for 6 turns, essentially, because it hits 3 times. And I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to work. I thought it should only work for 2 turns, but we'll show you in combat it lasts for 6. Very good ability. Obviously, you're not going to use this as much unless they're specific. But even if they're not dark resist, right, or dark weak, then this is like gives her a way to still increase her damage, which is nice. It's not like you definitely want to be using this on things that, because 3 hits, right, breaking 3 shields is great, making them take even more damage from a weakness is great. It's mostly where you want to use it, but this is ability that isn't bad even in the situation where you need, where they're not weak to dark. Spell Song, maybe her best ability. It's hard to say. Maybe the next ability is better, but this ability is pretty fucking nuts. Deal elemental dark damage to all foes 2 times at a potency of 105 with no boosts. This is a 210 potency, no boosts. It is 80 SP. This thing is expensive, and for good reason, because after it does that damage, it also lowers physical defense and elemental defense by 15%. What? That means just on her own, you Dirge of Dusk, you lower their dark resist by 15% for 6 turns, and then you follow up with this, then you lower their elemental defense by another 15%. So even if it was just her attacking, right, that's like a 30% damage increase, assuming no buffs, which we're not even there yet. This ability is insane. Great potency, 2 times, so it's good for shields, and it literally supports the entire team by lowering the physical defense and elemental defense of the enemy. Now, the only downside is lowering physical and elemental defense is not as good unless they're about to be broken. Like if you do this and it only lasts 2 turns and they're 2 turns from being broken, you're not really going to want to be using this, because you want the lower defense and elemental defense to be there when they're broken and you're really unloading all your damage, right? So this is an ability, if you're going to deal damage, you're probably going to default to Dirge of Dusk if they're not dark weak. Dirge of Dusk or Chaotic Blow, just to deal damage until you're ready to I would probably use Dirge of Dusk, but then when they're, like, all right, they're gonna be, I'm gonna break them next turn, that's when you unleash the Spell Song, and it's just a huge damage boost for your whole team, no matter if it's physical or elemental. And speaking of which, maybe my favorite ability in the game right now, Verse of Valor 3. Raise physical attack, elemental attack, and speed of front by 20%. This is crazy in my opinion. So not only is she lowering their physical defense and elemental defense by 15%, and potentially lowering their dark resist by 15%. This person, like, she's like the best dark damage dealer for sure in the game right now. Then she's also boosting her own and everyone else's, the front row, physical and elemental attack by 20%. I mean, this is like a 30% debuff on them with a 20% buff on you with speed. So you even get to outspeed them. It's really good to be able to outspeed a foe, because if you could break them and then, like, you just get an extra action to break them before they get a chance to go. Or I say an extra action because I always use Gilderoy, and Gilderoy's always so fucking slow, he never gets a chance to go. What's up, buddy? He just wants in the bedroom. He thinks Primrose is in there. She's not. But yeah, I love this ability. So even the thing about this ability that's so strong, bro, I'm trying to do a video. I love you. He's just being, he really wants some attention right now, and I'll give him attention as soon as I'm done here. So this ability ensures that, like, she has multiple abilities that are good in any situation. Like lowering dark resist is like decent in any situation, even if they're not weak to dark, because she still gets to increase her own damage. Hitting things 4 times is like okay. This is one that unless they're weak to fan, you're probably never going to use though. Spell Song is always good, right? Because even if you're not relying on it for damage or shield breaks, you still get to lower all their defenses for the rest of your team. But I got the culprit right here. But Verse of Valor is literally always insane. Like, even if you can't use any of her other abilities, all of her other abilities are shit. This ability is just, you could pump all of her BP into it and then just keep her in the back row. But like, this 20% extra damage is fucking great, especially because unlike the spell song, right, where the potency goes up, this is the duration that's going to go up. So instead of 2 turns, you can make it like 5 turns or 6 turns, right? I think even 7 with one of her passives. Come on, buddy. I need you to chillax. Which is, so that's like not necessarily the whole fight in some boss fights, but that's like pretty much the whole fight once she gets her BP up. That's a lot of damage, and I think the speed is really what puts this ability over, because sometimes enemies are fast, and you really want to go before the enemies, especially your slow, clunky clerics and healers. So abilities, I mean, so far, I think she might be just straight up the best unit in the game right now. Due to the sheer power of these abilities, in my opinion. Again, we're going to show you actually in combat, but let's go ahead and take a look at her passives now. She has 2 really good ones at 75% HP or more. So I like this, that she doesn't have to be capped. You get automatic SP recovery, so she can even take hits, right? If she takes a little bit of chip damage, she doesn't automatically stop gaining SP. And especially if she's in the back row, right? So she's going to heal her HP, so it's probably going to be above 75% anyway. And then she's getting SP recovery, and then she's getting bonus. But she's also good on the front row. She doesn't have any self-healing, but you're probably going to be running the healer anyway. She's not exactly here to try to heal anybody. She's like a great damage dealer and debuffer. So I really like that. Obviously, her abilities are like 70, 80 SP. They're fucking expensive. She really needs the that SP regeneration to make her going, and luckily you get it right away. It's like her first thing you get. And then her final one here, which I'm about to get, extend duration of augmenting effects granted by self by 1 turn. It does not stack, but it means the abilities that she does that augments, and I'm pretty confident augments are restricted to like Verse of Valor, right? Like this is, I don't think it says this is an augmentation ability, but that's what it is. We're not going to worry about Chaotic Blow. I'm going to show the animations of these other abilities. Chaotic Blow, you see what it does, you know what it does. She hits with the fan 4 times, all right? I like it, but specifically for the point of the review, I'm not going to be running it. And then outside of that, I mean, everything else is pretty normal, right? A lot of the SP savers are going to be good because that brings this from 80 down to 64, which is pretty fucking huge. Verse of Valor, SP saver, I mean, this is way less important because you're using this ability less times per battle. So you're getting the benefit maybe once, maybe twice. In this one, you might be getting the saving SP like 4 or 5 times. Outside of that, I think that's kind of everything we have to talk about her passives. So let's go ahead and jump into a combat. And now this will be, I'm going to go into a combat this is not to show off her damage or necessarily her, like I could go fight level 1s and like, look how she one-shots everything, right? So it's all relative to where you are in the game. We're more going to show off her animations and her utility, the interesting things. All right, so Primrose. First, I have not used Verse of Valor yet as I just unlocked it. No, I didn't just unlock it, but I just used it. So you can see that this is 2 turns. But it increases the BP, but I'm going to just stick it at 2 turns just to see exactly if now she gets the 3rd turn out of it. Very nice. And it is 3 turns. So she does increase that from 2 turns to 3 turns. And so she's got this really, I'm really excited to use Spell Song because it's like actually insane. It's a really, really cool ability visually. Do we have Millard on the team? We forgot to put Millard on the team. Hopefully we don't just get slapped, but we might. But it's not about getting slapped or not. Let's use Dirge of, oh man, dude, should we try to break these foes? Let's try to break these guys really quick. All right, we ain't got that. Maybe we just kill him and then we do the next fight though. Let's see what happens. So this ability is really cool. You'll be able to see that as she goes, right? She doesn't attack, debuff, doesn't attack, debuff, doesn't attack, debuff. So I think that's very, very good. It obviously, because it can hit multiple foes, it doesn't necessarily get 6 turns on one thing. It could get 2 turns on 3 things like that. But on single target, it just puts it up to 6 turns. The issue with this ability so far has only been that the cap is 9 turns. Like you can't go above 9 turns of a debuff. So she's constantly, I'm typically just constantly at that 9 turn cap, which is not like a bad thing, but it's also like, okay, well the ability has become almost redundant at that point. And I think this does slightly more damage. I think Spell Song does slightly more damage at max BP, but it's very expensive because this goes up to that's 280 and this is 270. So I think this is Spell Song is always a little bit more powerful. Let's take a look at this ability here. Let's sure, let's just do some stuff. Let's do some stuff. This ability is very fucking cool. Check this out. It's definitely my favorite ability so far. She like summons these dope ass palm trees and it's like this dark, I don't even know what it is, but it's a very, very cool visual attack. I haven't seen any attacks have kind of like a, almost like a mini kind of separate animation in it. I guess it's like, I don't know, she summoned trees and then the trees did this thing. So I'm sure that this is like specifically no one else in the game is going to get like, this is maybe like her signature ability, something like that. But those were her main abilities, right? We kind of went through, we saw what it's all about. She is a very fast unit. I'm still not talking about stats too much, because I don't know necessarily what's good, but we can compare to like, she doesn't have any awakening, so it's going to look low in a lot of ways, like, right? Like this guy's got 569 attack, right? But she's got more physical defense. Her elemental attack is 551. Yeah, Ashland has some insane damage. The speed's already higher actually, even though she has 0 awaken on her for now. But you can take a look at Paradier, who does have the awaken, 593. Like he's a little bit higher. But in a way it doesn't really matter because he's got the, you know, he's got the 30% bonus stats, where she has like insanely overpowered abilities. Paradier's got some cool stuff. I like him, but he's not like he's not really much of a fighter. He's definitely more of a analyze and then remove them from the party if you can. Like if you're fighting an elite, you go in, you get their weakness run, go and get their weakness run, go and get their weakness run, and then once you have all their weaknesses, then you switch out Paradier from your party, then you go into the fight with units that actually exploit the weakness. So yeah, it's as far as speed though, even though without the 30%, right, 328 right now, she has no accessories that increase her speed. She's only behind my 2 thieves. And that's probably because the thieves and the fans all give speed as a stat. But I think with that extra 50 speed, right, she'd be outspeeding everyone. 50, 60, 78. She would be 2 points above Viola, and she'd be just about the same. She'd be like 20 points or whatever above Wingate here. So she's very, very fast. And obviously Viola has the awaken. So yeah, she might be one of the fastest units in the game right now. Very good overall. Not only do I not have complaints, I think she's probably the strongest unit in the game right now. Every one of these abilities I think is nuts. And I think her real strength comes, obviously she's insane if they're weak against fan and darkness, right? But I think one of her real strengths comes from no matter what, if you're going up against a foe that has no darkness weakness, no fan weakness, she's still got insane buffs: Versa Valor, Warrior, Chant, whatever, Spell Song, debuff all their stats, you know, debuff their defenses, buff your own attacks and your speeds. She definitely helps your team dish out a ton more damage in literally every single situation. So that's all I got to say about Primrose to date. I love this unit. Absolutely killer in my opinion. But anyway, Purplatypus is Purplatypus. Catch you guys in the next vid. Peace.